I had the pleasure of catching up with Greg Holmes this morning, former Wallaby and former Queensland Red. Greg, you hail from the Darling Downs. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional rugby journey.
So it's a while back now that I started playing rugby. So I grew up in a little town called Allora, which is in Queensland there, not far from Toowoomba, and I was playing rugby league as a junior, and it all started. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to Downlands in Toowoomba, so I went up there for my grade 11 and 12, my senior year of footy, and that's where I started playing rugby union, and grew a passion for the game there, and I moved down to Brisbane after that, and do what you do out of school, and enjoyed myself for a few years, and then I was lucky enough to get picked up in Queensland on the 19s, and then went on to the Reds Academy, and the rest is history from there. I sort of stuck in and carved out a pretty reasonable career.
Importantly for us, you're an ambassador for the Australian Stockman Rugby Union. Tell us a little bit about why you became involved with this countryside and why you continue to invest into it.
Yeah, obviously, I met you guys, and that I was out at the Stockman Rugby dinner, end of year's dinner. Seems a long time ago now, and then just growing up in the country, I obviously knew a lot of guys that played for Stockman Rugby over the years, and being from a rural area myself, I just know how important that is to other country guys. It's sort of you can get caught out not having a lot of opportunities to play rugby when you live remote, and it's just a great idea, and it's a great opportunity for guys to pull that jersey on, which is something they'd be extremely proud of, and it exposes them to a level of rugby which they probably never thought they'd get the chance. So, mate, it's great, and I hopefully I can be a part of a lot more years.
It'd be great to have you pull a jersey on one day, mate.
I don't know how I'll be after I finish up over here, but if I can, I will.
Greg, what advice do you have for young rural or regional players looking to make something of themselves in rugby?
Yeah, look, it's like anything in life, If you want something bad enough, you got to commit fully to it, and that's just it. I know if I wanted to play rugby, I had to make the move to Brisbane, and that's probably going to be the same for a lot of guys. And it's same as Stockman Rugby. It's sort of you're either in it fully, or if you half commit, you're probably not going to get out of it what you really want. So that was the biggest thing. And I was very fortunate enough. I was lucky that my parents sort of supported me, and I always wanted to play rugby, and they sort of helped me make the move down to Brisbane and gave me every opportunity, and I was just lucky things panned out the way they did. But any advice, if that's what you want to do, you just got to commit 100% and go for it. That's the hard bit. Once you do that step, you may or may not make it. I think things have to fall. You need to fall in place. You need a little bit of luck in life, and I was lucky enough to get that. So that's probably the best advice I could give.
Your career has lasted over 12 years in professional sport. How have you stayed mentally healthy, physically healthy, and what's kept you motivated?
Yeah, mate, again, I think I've probably had a little bit of luck, I've obviously had my fair share of injuries, but, I've seen a lot of guys drop out of rugby due to injuries, guys, very good players, and, just get a run of bad injuries and drop out, and I've sort of been lucky enough to forge them through, and, I haven't really had that too bad of injuries, so that's, luck's probably another thing, and then just persistence, I think I tend to be a pretty stubborn bloke, and when I want something, I sort of dig my heels in a bit, and I've always wanted to play rugby, and I've wanted to play for as long as I can, and I think that's probably another thing that helped. And just the competitive side, I've always been reasonably competitive in anything I did, and I think that's just a driving force, and it's kept me going for all these years.
I think you cracked the Wallabies in 2005. Your last game with the Wallabies was 2015 World Cup. Just tell us a little bit about playing for the Wallabies.
Yeah, it's playing for the Wallabies. It's probably means a hell of a lot to me now, but it's probably something when it's all said and done, I'm finished playing. It's something I'll look back on, and I'll be extremely proud and happy that I've done it. It's a lot of time and effort goes into getting selected in teams like that, and it's probably you look back at it and you think, all the time I did in the Reds Academy, and then to get into the Queensland Reds, and you think there's that's the pinnacle of the sport, and when you go on and start playing for Queensland, and when you finally get to play for Australia, but it's a very special thing, And looking back at it, I've been asked that question a few times, and looking back at it, the little things you remember, like I don't really remember the games all that well, but the things I remember, like at the last World Cup, I remember singing the anthems in front of the crowds at Twickenham. moments like that, and you look up and if you see your parents and your wife and family, things like that in the crowd, and they're the moments you remember. So I've got some very special memories from it. So mate, it's been great.
Greg, you're currently playing over in the English Premiership with the Exeter Chiefs. How's Exeter going?
No, excellent. It was a big decision to come over here. I was at the Reds for my entire career, and I thought that's where I was going to start and that's where I was going to finish. And yeah, after the World Cup, I sort of obviously got a little bit of interest from overseas clubs, and it was sort of had a good chat with Alana, and if I didn't make the move now, I don't think I ever would have got another chance.
Tell us a little bit about how the Premiership compares to Super Rugby.
Mate, to be perfectly honest, before coming over, I didn't obviously pay too much attention to Premiership Rugby and European Rugby, and I didn't know a hell of a lot about it. It's sort of, I was probably caught up in the the Super Rugby bubble. That's all I ever did. That's all I ever knew, and you think that's all there is to rugby. And then making the decision to come over here and coming into this comp, it probably caught me off guard a little bit how tough it is. It's definitely not as fast as Super Rugby, and the weather and conditions probably play a little bit into that as well. But you're coming up against bigger, heavier teams, especially the forward packs. They're more set piece orientated over here. You're not going to win this comp if you don't have a big scrum, if you don't have a big mauling game, if you don't, if your set piece isn't right, you can't win games, and that's probably the biggest difference over here. It's just absolutely paramount to have your forward play on point, and that's one part of Exeter Rugby I really enjoy. That's what they pride themselves on, and I love being a part of that.
Have you enjoyed catching up with some of the expats over there, Greg?
Heaps of my mates coming over. I caught up with James Hanson the other night, actually, and Jake Schatz as well, one of the boys I was playing the Reds. I stayed up in London with him the other night, but there's a fair connection of Aussies over here.
Greg, thanks for chatting with Stockman Rugby. Really appreciate you inputting into the Stockman Rugby program.
Mate, absolute pleasure. Hopefully a lot more years to come.